So in our first video for jQuery UI, I'm going to show you two really useful functions, Draggables and Resizables. And we'll start with Draggables. So here in front of me, I've got an empty web page. You can see I've got the usual jQuery in there, and I've also got a link to jQuery UI. So make sure that you get this link in your page when you're working with jQuery UI, or it won't work. And we're going to start with a very quick challenge. Can you create a green square with the text "drag me around" in it? Okay, I hope you managed that. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to create a div with an ID of draggable. And I'm going to put the text "drag me around" and then close the div. And then up here in the head, I'm going to add some styles. And they're all going to be for the draggable ID. And I'm going to give it a width of 200 pixels, a height of 200 pixels, a background color of green, and let's take a look. Excellent. If only I'd spelled around correctly, that would have been perfect. Great. Okay, so we've got our green square. So now, of course, our aim is to make this square draggable. At the moment, if I drag it, of course, nothing happens. But making it draggable with jQuery UI is extremely straightforward. So let's see how we do it. I'm just going to create my script at the bottom. And now all we do is we reference the draggable ID, and I'm just going to pause a moment for you to remember how to do that. Okay, hopefully you did something like that. So the dollar symbol calls jQuery, and then we've got the draggable with the hash sign telling us that we want the draggable ID, and then all we do is add draggable. That's it. Nice. Save, refresh, and there we go. Fantastic. Super easy to do something that would take quite a long time to do with just plain old JavaScript. Great. Now for Resizables, we need to bring in the jQuery UI CSS file, which gives us some extra styles that some of the jQuery UI functions need. So I'm going to show you how to get that. I'm just going to search for jQuery UI CDN. You remember that CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. So it's a way that you can access the jQuery files directly. I'm going to go for the Google ones, and then I'm just going to search for jQuery UI. There it is. And you can see we've got the jQuery UI JS, which is what I'm using here. And then for the CSS, I'm just going to pop that in above it there. Great. So now we've got the jQuery UI default CSS, which is one of the smoothness themes, and also the jQuery UI JavaScript. Great. So we're now going to create another square. I'm going to let you choose your color this time, and I won't pause, but if you want to pause now and create a square of your own, please do. I'm just going to call it resizable, and this will say resize me, and close the div, and don't forget that. And then in fact I'll just copy this, resizable, and we'll make it red just for a bit of variety. And there we go, underneath there. So you might be able to guess how we actually make it resizable. All we need to do is refer to it. So our resizable, and then we use the resizable method to apply that property to it. And just before we run that, we do need to add HTTP, because remember we're using the file protocol here, so we need to make sure that it is downloading this from the web and not trying to download it from our local file system. Okay, Let's have a look. Now you can see this one's got a little kind of handle on the bottom there. That's where the CSS comes in. And then if we just grab that handle, we can resize it super easily. So now we can play around with this as much as we like. So you can hopefully start to see that jQuery UI very easily gives you the tools to create interactive websites and web apps, which allows for a much better user experience. In the next few videos, we'll look at some of the other things that jQuery UI can do.